Hello YouTube, Thomas Judge back once again with video 9 of my MCU Universe watch through. It's been 9 days and I have just watched Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. This film is just exceptional. It's absolutely flawless, and I'm going to try to keep this review as short as I can because I don't want to gush too much, but that ultimately is the takeaway here. If you've seen it before, you know what to expect. It starts off directly with that iconic scene of Steve Rogers running around in Washington and with the On Your Left opener with the Falcon, introducing the Falcon, reintroducing Black Widow, moves straight into this action scene on a boat where they're retaking a pirated vessel, which is just great. I mean, I even forgot the fight, the hand-to-hand battle between Batroc and Captain America, which was brilliant. And hit by hit, step by step, this entire movie is just perfectly paced, perfectly nuanced. The next major hit is the hit on Nick Fury, which is done brilliantly. That then segues relatively smoothly into the elevator scene, which is the iconic scene and frankly one of the best single action montages in the entire MCU. And one of the best single fight sequences in cinema in the last 10 years, give or take, in my opinion, of course. It was just great. Everything after that, sort of Black Widow becoming sort of central to the plot, the journey of these sort of two soldiers whilst they're on the run, everything about it was brilliant. The fact that they go back to Camp Lehigh, which is where Captain America originally went through his basic training in the original movie in order to find Arnim Zola and progress the plot, that was brilliant. I mean, again, in terms of, sort of narrative structure, that kind of circular journey, that kind of odyssey and mythic aspect to the story is really what embeds for me this as being a genuine sequel of Captain America. And the Captain America films, as far as I remember, like I say, I haven't got back to Civil War yet, those three films are genuinely a cohesive, united trilogy. And the reason I say that, if you look at something like Iron Man, the second film isn't really one that lends itself to a trilogy, just another one in a sequence. And by that, what I mean is, it doesn't really hark back to the beginning. There's not a cyclical journey. There's no recurrent themes and motifs. Yes, it mentions his dad again, and yes, it talks a bit about the arc reactor again, but really, it doesn't really evoke and go through the same themes and expand on the themes that the first movie does. If you look at any trilogy of anything, from Scream to Back to the Future to whatever, that's what a trilogy is. The first movie sets things up, the second movie expands them but still plays around with those same themes and those same elements, and then the third movie crystallizes them all together. And it really feels that's what Captain America does. And the callbacks here to things like Camp Lehigh and Arnim Zola and things like that, it's like, yeah, this is very tightly enmeshed together. I'll probably go over this again when I get to my Civil War review. And then, yeah, it just segues into the last couple of action beats, which is the recruitment of Falcon, the attack of the Winter Soldier, Cap and Natasha and Falcon getting taken down by him, and then the breakout and moving into the helicarrier battle, which is just exceptional. Every beat of this is perfect. Every line of dialogue is tight. It is there. It's exactly what it needs to be. The way this was filmed was just sublime. I think the only nitpick I would have, and this is only if I was forced to have a criticism, is that the score was good, but it wasn't iconic in the same way that the Avengers score is iconic. But that's hardly much of a criticism. I guess all that is the score's not memorable, but it is very, very good and very, very effective and very adequate. Yeah, that's it, guys. Keeping it short, keeping it sharp. This film was excellent. Totally forgot about Agent 13. Good to see her. And from what I recall, she's back in Civil War, so that's going to be great to see her as that. I gather she's Sharon Carter from what I remember, so that's going to be quite cool and quite funny. And obviously this resolves my questions about the first Captain America, or Avengers film rather, which is about the World Security Council. Now I know what happened to them. So those are my thoughts. This is excellent. Definitely watch it. Definitely by a large margin the MCU's best movie to date out of the first 9. And honestly, from what I remember from seeing all the others, this is probably the best up to Infinity War and Endgame. But let's see what I think in my second run through. If you're new to Marvel Comics, or you've just seen the MCU, or you want to know a little bit more about comics having watched The Winter Soldier, there's 3 recommendations I'd make for you. Firstly, is I would strongly recommend you check out The Ultimates, written by Mark Millar. It is kind of alternate continuity. It's not the usual Marvel Universe mainstream, but it's well worth checking out. when you read the Ultimates, you'll see there are so many elements and so many actual panel by panel scenes from that have been translated into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially Avengers Assemble, especially certain sequences in the Hulk and a lot of Winter Soldier comes straight from that. So definitely well worth checking out. Another thing well worth checking out is Ed Brubaker's Winter Soldier run of Captain America comics. Again, that's available on Omnibus. I haven't actually read this myself. I do own it, but I haven't got around to it. And then the third thing I would say, and this is an odd recommendation because this is probably one of the best comics I've read in my entire life, but at the same time, if you're coming into comics and you're not that familiar with them, this is a relatively advanced read. You'll get more out of this the more you know about other Marvel history and stuff. But to keep in mind, I would highly recommend Secret Warriors, written by Jonathan Hickman. Came out back in 2010. This is, for my money, one of the best comic series, if not the best comic series to have been written in the last 15 years. But like I say, I think if I'd read this back in 2010 when it came out, I wouldn't have enjoyed it or appreciated it as much as I did reading it in the last couple of years with a lot more context and information. But if you guys are interested, those are 3 series that I would strongly recommend if you enjoyed The Winter Soldier, enjoyed the vibe, and you're enjoying this read through. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you're getting on. Let me know what you thought about these films. And let me know how you're dealing with the quarantine and the lockdown. I'm in the UK, so it's now been announced that it's very likely to drag on substantially longer than 3 weeks. I'm looking down the long barrel of potentially 6 months of this. So it'll be good to get your thoughts on both this series and other stuff you'd like to see in the channel. As always, please support this channel at this time by going onto Amazon and picking up my free episodic prose novel, No Gods or Kings. That would be amazing. I really appreciate it if you could just pick it up, check it out, and leave a review. And until tomorrow, when I'll be watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, stay classy.